zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Stargazing mega fast. You hit me like a cosmic blast. You're giving me a technicolor world. Putting me in overdrive. Speed of light, I'm so alive. Could you be my supernova girl? Interplanetary, megastellar, hydrostatic. There's no gravity between us. Our love is automatic. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Make my heart go. My supernova girl. Make my heart go. My supernova girl. Make my heart go. My supernova girl. Make my heart go. My supernova girl.
All right, well, we've got our guest here tonight, Brock Baker, all the way from Los Angeles, joining us. And Brock's been a longtime friend and collaborator on many projects. So, Brock, go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us some of the highlights that you remember maybe growing up at what was Phoenix First, is now Dream City.
It's always Phoenix First to me. Hi, I'm Brock Monroe Baker, and I am a part of the Phoenix First family, Dream City. My dad is the campus pastor there at the Phoenix campus, and my mom has always been a part of the performing arts there. My whole childhood was performing arts at the church, honestly. And actually, for those of you that don't know, my great mentor in performing arts was actually Mark Stoddard. I think it was so cool because Mark saw something inside of me when I was young. He saw that I had a shot, or that I was willing to try and be good. I don't know. But because of that, in recognizing that, it helped me see it in myself. Like, oh man, maybe I can do this. You know, my dad honestly probably wouldn't normally be like, go for it, be a performing artist. Because we come from the Midwest and that's just not normally done. But because that culture there in Phoenix and in that church was so heavy on the performing arts of like, this is actually a cool thing. That really made me feel like I could be free in that. Probably the greatest thing that I picked up from childhood and production and all of that, moving into now in this industry in LA, is the ability to watch and learn. From sitting at the table with Tommy Barnett and my dad and being able to just sit and listen and see how they hold themselves in a conversation, see how my dad would wait after church and talk until everybody left, like until the last person was gone. That's something that I was able to pick up. Something in my life that I wanted to be forever is that I wanted to be a Renaissance man. Even right now I'm working on American Idol, and I wouldn't even be able to have the job if I didn't understand, number one, how to sing, number two, how to produce, number three, how a camera works. And I'm having to film everything, how lighting works, all of that stuff. Yeah. You know, I'm having to film all this stuff and record all the audio and, and be able to perform. So it's been the most valuable to me, is being able to watch and learn and then apply.
I got a couple of pictures to show you. I'm going to screen share with you here in a second.
Oh, wow.
You recognize that?
Yeah, that's Godspell.
This was 2005, 15 years ago. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And that is Brock right there, the little teenager in the yellow.
Oh my gosh.
You were doing some kind of comic bit. I got to say, Brock Baker was always very adept at not only dramatic stuff, but broad comedy too, which is hard to do. Okay, here's another one I'll show you. Just show you for a second.
What are you doing?
Fighting off the devil. Who are you?
Relax, my good fellow. I too am fighting off the enemy. So, how goes the battle, brother?
Oh, it's good, good. And you?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Oh, look out!
Ooh, my. Couldn't help noticing how well you handle that sword there.
Yeah, it takes a little practice. You know what they say?
Yes, I do. Actually, no. What do they say?
Our battle is not against flesh and blood, but of spiritual forces
Of wickedness in heavenly places. Yes.
Ah,
Whoa. Whoa. What church is it that you attend?
I go to the only real cutting-edge church around here, Riverside Pentecostal.
I see, you're a charismaniac, huh? I am a Lutheran myself.
A Lutheran?
Yes.
I didn't even know that you guys knew that there was an enemy. Listen, pal. At least we believe the full gospel.
Oh.
You just choose to ignore the parts of the Bible that you just don't seem to understand.
We choose to be seeker sensitive. Touché.
Your services are like funerals.
And yours are so disorderly. It's a wonder you get any visitors at your church.
At least we're soul winners and not soul whiners.
Soul winners, how's that?
We bust in people from the streets. How do you win the
We
lost?
relate to them through theater arts.
Christian theater, there's no such thing.
You uncultured swine!
So there you go, my friend. A little nostalgic romp on one of the drama scenes you were in many moons ago.
I should have given you more time for that laugh line. What was I thinking?
I know, bro.
Laugh through it.
But you know, when you only get one shot at performing, you don't know where the audience energy is going to be.
I know.
So.
Christian theater, there's no such thing. It's funny because I'm not good at memorizing stuff. Truly, I'm not. I don't even remember half the song. I've written over 1,000 songs. I don't even remember any of the words. But I can remember our battle is not against flesh and blood, but of spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly places. I know that because of you.
Mm.
I don't know that because my parents made me do junior Bible quiz. I know it because you got me involved in your performing arts.
I wanted to hear what you, for the audience to know kind of what you guys do in LA and who Molly is and all that.
So my wife is she's an artist. She was with Atlantic for years, and now we're stepping away from Atlantic, and we're kind of figuring out if we want to continue to go the route of record labels or if we want to try independent stuff. I'm releasing independent projects right now. When it comes to performing arts, I'm kind of the Renaissance man. If you need, I've been a music supervisor and an actor. I've acted on shows and singing on shows, doing background singing. I worked on The Voice, American Idol, a lot of the singing shows, honestly, Glee, Angie Tribeca. There's some Nickelodeon shows I've done, some Disney shows that I've done. I wrote a whole kids show. I directed a play that went to New York called Viral that we're working on right now for the next steps. And then, I did the Super Bowls with Lady Gaga. And now I'm doing a lot of background vocals for, we're doing Rascal Flatts, Katy Perry. I'm the lead singing voice on a Spielberg show called Animaniacs right now.
Cool.
Which is, I don't know if I even told you that, but that's, I think I'm allowed to tell you that. My wife's sitting over, she's like, are you allowed to tell them that? Yeah, why not? What are you going to do? One thing that I learned out here, and this is a very, very quick lesson, was, and this is like the Christian side of me, is I don't think that any of this is worth it if I lose my heart and my soul in the process. And so I turned down some stuff. and still God honored that and gave me other things. Honestly, I can't explain it any other way than that. It was the most clear voice I've ever heard, but no one was in the car with me. And it was that I had to leave Phoenix, and I was called to LA to essentially be a missionary on October 1st of 2009. And it wasn't 2009 yet, it wasn't October 1st. And up until that date, I didn't have enough money to do it. I was a college kid. I coming right out of high school, I didn't have anything. And I was trying to figure all that out. Well, my parents were like, Brock, if you don't have money, you can't go. You know, I'm just like, but I'm supposed to go. I ended up getting a job in LA, and I ended up getting a place to stay for free.
Wow.
And then, you know, the story goes later that within that year, I booked Glee. Within that year, that family that I was staying with, they needed a worship pastor because their guy left, and they just needed someone to fill in. I filled in, and our church took off. And it was only because I booked Glee, and my friends from Glee, I started bringing them down, and all these people were coming to our tiny little church to come sing. And I've got world-class singers. I'm not kidding, like world-class. And they're all coming down to come sing at our rinky-dink church, our tiny little church. And I'm not kidding, man, that place blew up. We ended up, you know, making a couple records, and I'm so grateful that I was able to be in a lot of this stuff, but still come out and still love Jesus and not be destroyed by it. I have a question for you guys. Do you ever deal with or struggle with being a perfectionist? Because I feel like something I've dealt with a lot is because we've been so driven by excellence. I mean, fine arts, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You know, excellent isn't even good enough. You have to be superior with invite, you know? So it's like, I don't know. Do you guys ever deal with that's something I personally have found, but do you guys deal with that?
I had a director years ago, you know, there's the phrase practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
He said, no, he says, practice makes prepared.
Yeah.
You might be vocally tired. You might be sick. You might, you know, there may be a bunch of different things going on, but if you can practice to be as prepared as you can when that moment and that opportunity arrives, that's all you can do, you know, and you
that's great.
live with that. And Tommy Barnett said something that's always kind of stuck with me. It's not about artistry necessarily, but he said, work like it all depends on you, pray like it all depends on God. And there's this balance between us doing our best, but then realizing we have a limitation. And I've always kept that in mind, that I don't want to work myself into a frenzy unnecessarily, but I want to do my best and then just pray, God, take this, whatever I put into it, put my heart and soul into it, take that and do what I never could.
And that's something I've really been driven by a lot for a lot of years. And now I'm just trying to feel more free in that I want it to be authentic, you know? Yeah. And I just want, as I'm getting older, especially as you become this perfectionist that everything has to be edited 59 trillion times. By the time you've whittled it all away, it's no longer looks like what you wanted it to look, you know, what you started with, which was actually sometimes more pure.
Who do you trust? You know, when you are looking for feedback, you're looking for honest criticism about your art.
Yeah.
How do you know who to trust their opinion, and how do you gauge that?
Man, that's a great question. I think that first of all, I really trust my wife. My wife is a professional singer, and she is honest, and she knows when something is authentically me or if it's not. If you want to ask me what I do, and I just told you 50 things that I do, truly, I would say I'm a creator. That's probably the easiest way to say it.
It's good. Yeah.
And I feel like that's my great calling. Josh, I've seen stuff that you're doing. I saw that thing that you did with the light, that video. I thought that was, I was so inspired by that, truly. I thought that was so cool. And I immediately went, that kid's a creator.
Yeah.
I love that he's creating his own content and he's creating his own thing. That's really cool.
So there's aspiring artists who might be watching this, especially people who are interested in songwriting and some of the type of things that you're involved in. You know, what maybe a couple of pieces of advice would you have for them?
I think it's always important to know the rules. Knowing the foundation of singing, knowing the foundation of songwriting, and then breaking the rules where they need to be broken. I mean, I've got some buddies who are very structured to the point where it has to be this exact structure that's always been. And in the process, they lose heart. And then I have other friends who are all heart and their music has no structure and it's confusing and people just don't get it. And it will never have mass appeal. I want to say you should, if you're looking at making money, then it's give them what they want. But if you're looking at just art, then it's really just being as true to yourself as you can be.
We're your biggest cheerleaders, and we're really proud of you, and we're really thankful that you value your heritage at the church. If there's anything I could say is just pass that blessing on, you know, to the next generation, and it's fun to see it all come, you know, full circle.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey man, I got to tell you, Mark, you've really meant the world to me, and I'm just really forever in debt to you, and so grateful. And it's so obvious to me that Jesus is at the foundation of everything that you do. And that's something that has stuck with me forever, that everything I write, everything I do, it's got something. And my dad put that in me too. Tommy Barnett put that in me. Luke was a part of that. Dave, I mean, all these people having at the foundation of it all, the foundation of the creation that we create, having Jesus there it's just been so important. So
I got one last curveball to throw at you here.
yeah.
It is the week leading up to Mother's Day. So I wanted you to share a few things about what you love about your mom.
Yeah, this will probably really make me cry. My mom's a very, very special woman. And listen, if I only had my dad, I'd be a great video game player. You know, it's like, but I'm not. So, you know, but with my mom, she really was a driving force, has always been a driving force to me being excellent. My mom is a valuable person. She knows her worth. She's strong. Having someone that I felt like I could talk to about anything has been so valuable, especially when I came to a place where no one else was here but me. And I'm just really grateful that she picked up the phone. Because there were a lot of times where I was going into dark places and I needed someone to talk to. Having somebody that's a great soundboard without judgment, but then can still give you tough love when you need it is something that I don't know anyone else. Maybe my wife is as close to it as it gets to that, but it's just something that I'll value for all my days. I say it all the time, but I love you.
We appreciate you, and there's going to be, you know, young people that are watching this they have a dream, and they just need some role models to follow. And so we appreciate you sharing your heart, and what you're doing. And,
Thanks, guys. And if you ever want to see more, I have a website. I have all that stuff. All right.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man. Have a great night.
All right. Bye, y'all.